Good morning to everyone here. Thank you very much, Prof. As Prof said, I'm Abdul Rahim, and when my brother Abdul also came here, he stressed on solution. So we are here to provide solution to the menace. So our topic is investigating into the selectivity of the agricultural waste adsorbent towards metal removal from wastewater. You all know that fresh water is a critical resource. Fresh water is a critical resource for this planet. And for decades, human activity as well as natural activities has indeed caused a lot of havoc to the ecosystem. For instance, as contained by Ismail et al. In 2016, he stressed that the mining sector has exposed additional heavy metal into our water bodies. And according to research by Professor Atuege and myself, we also contend that both the quality and the quantity of our fresh water that is available is readily declining. So, should we always focus on the problem by mentioning them? No. As a scientist and as an engineer, we sat down to also bring about lasting solutions to this problem. Although several scientific procedures has been introduced, which includes the chemical precipitation method, the ion exchange, which are very efficient, but it's costly. So scientists, together with engineers, also brought up the biofiltration method, which has again a lot of attention because it is very efficient and also cost-effective. So despite this bioabsorbent proving capacity to remove heavy metal ion from wastewater, there isn't much information to say whether or not they can be utilized to remove various metal ion from aqueous solution in a selective manner. Since, for instance, if you are taking the Ancobra River, in which many scientific studies has also shown the pollution level, and this Ancobra River are being used by most of our community. The Ghana Water Company treats these waters for our communities. And we know that magnesium and calcium are very essential ions in our water. So these bioabsorbents strictly remove all these ions from our wastewater. So our main objective of this study is to assess or investigate to see whether these bioabsorbents can be selective towards the metal ions in the water bodies. So the main objective of this study, as I said, is to investigate the selectivity of the agricultural waste byproducts towards heavy metal ion. So the questions that were asked around this main objective include: one, what is the removal efficiency of the bioabsorbent towards heavy metal ion? And what are the binding interaction between the bioabsorbent and the adsorbate, that is the metal ion? And then lastly, how selective is this bioabsorbent towards metal ions in aqueous solution? So in this study, we chose the coconut shell, in which research has been proven for it to be very efficient in removing metal ions from solution. So the specific objective of this study seeks to investigate the removal efficiency of coconut shell adsorbent towards the various metal ion, and two, to establish the chemistry of the binding interaction between the agricultural waste adsorbent and the metal ion. And then lastly, to determine the selectivity of the agricultural waste adsorbents. So in this study, two critical materials are needed. One is the wastewater. Number two is the biosorbent, that is the coconut shell. So here, we chose the carbonized form of the coconut shell. So the flow chart gives the method in which we use in the preparation of the carbonized coconut shell. So firstly is the fetching of the coconut shell, which is readily available. So we went to the Fiapre market where we just picked them from a coconut vendor in the Fiapre market. It was then washed under running water and then flushed with distilled water. Further, we dry it under the sun for 2 days. And to ensure complete dryness, we further put it in the oven at 105 degrees Celsius in 24 hours, which was taken to CSIR for Mesua in Kumasi for the pyrolysis at 800 degrees Celsius. It was then cooled, grind, sieve, and then stored in a Ziploc bag at 4 degrees Celsius. So secondly is the metal ion concentration. So the metal ions, what we did was that to create an artificial contaminated water. So that one too, we purchased metal salt from a known chemical shop in Accra, in which we prepared the stock solutions from it, where various dilutions were made from it. So in order to provide answers to the first objective of the study, that seeks to investigate or bring about the efficiency of the removal. These are the process that we went through. First, the carbonized or the prepared coconut shell, that is the powdered form, was added to our artificial contaminated solution. So where the compound were then put on a shaker. So in the shaker, we were trying to find the different contact times of the compound that we have or the solution that we have. So afterwards, it was then taken from the shaker at different time. Let's note this, that since bioabsorption is a physical process and not a chemical one, then it is very, very significant for us to also study this within some time period in order to get the most significant efficiency of the biosorbents. So after the filtration analysis, after the filtration, the filtrate was analyzed using an ICP. So in order to compute the removal percentage, the above formula was used, where the Ca represents the initial concentration of the artificial contaminated water, and the Cb is the filtrate after the biofiltration process, or multiplied by 100. So the figure there represents or shows the biofiltration method that we used. The results. So my brother, Mr. Abdul, we have achieved some significant results. with this biosorbent. So the metals that we selected from this research were arsenic, mercury, copper, and lead, which are among the most significant metals that you can find in our polluted waters. So for the arsenic, we can see that at time 30, that is the time, contact time 30, we achieve an efficiency of 64% removal. And for the copper, we achieve 99.34% at time 15. So this indicates that the contact time, the significant contact time for the ions and the biosorbent is time 15. So after time 15, it begins to dissolve. So for mercury, we had about 4 significant different times in achieving our results. So the first one was at 5 minutes, the second one was at 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and also at 60 minutes, and then 120 minutes. So they all achieve percentiles which are above 99% removal. So as I said, Mr. Minister, we can provide solutions to this menace, and we can get our waters back. So for zinc 2, we also achieve a 98.63% removal efficiency at time 120 minutes. So there is ongoing work which seeks to do more biofiltration in order to affirm the results that we have achieved. And further, the selectivity test will be done, and the FTIR experiment will help us understand the chemistry that is involved in the absorption process. In conclusion, we have so far shown that employing biosorbent made from coconut shell, which is rather cheaper, is successful in removing copper, lead, mercury, and arsenic from wastewater. Research is being done to confirm the biosorbent ability to distinguish between the various metal ions in solution. To further understand the chemistry of the biosorbent process, the biosorbent will also undergo additional characterization using the FTIR and the SEM imaging. This research, if this research is successful, Mr. Minister, what we intend to do is to construct an affordable biofilter for quick in-situ heavy metal water filtration. As I said, we are not here to argue about the problem. We are here to provide solution. And in this, we are not waiting for any industry player. We are doing this for ourselves. So the engineers, as well as the chemists in UENR, are with you, Mr. Minister, and all of us are in this fight. Thank you.